Target costing, various steps in target costing. That is, target costing means what? If you want to reduce the cost at that time, you have to do planning in advance before start of any activity, before start of manufacturing, before start of purchasing any kind of resources. First, you have to plan it. That is nothing but target costing. So in target costing, what we are doing, we are deciding the target across each and every activity, across each and every department in the organization. So first step in target costing that we had studied about the customer product design specification. We will finalize the design. We will finalize the product design first. Which kind of product we wanted to make? Swift, Swift PDI, Swift LXI, Swift Desire, then Desire. Means what? These are the designs. What is the expectations of, what is the expectation of customer? What is the requirement of customer? Accordingly, we will design the specification in the product. We will make the modifications into our product. That is nothing but customer product specification. Okay, what are the differences between existing product and new product which I am going to manufacture? What are the differences between my competitors product and my product? That is nothing but product specification or design specification. Once you finalize the specification of your product, then what you have to do, you have to decide the selling price. Means what? If I manufacture this product, at that time, at what cost I will, sorry, at what selling price I will sell into the market, and does this selling price is acceptable or not? Do we get the customer response, response to my product or not? That should be analyzed in the target selling price. On the basis of this, you need to do the customers analysis, competitors analysis, dealers analysis. You have to take the feedback and you need to decide the selling price. Then once you decided the selling price is the fixed price at which I can sell out my product into the market and I will get the demand. I will get the customer's response. Then we had studied about the target volume. Target volume means what? How many units you have targeted to manufacture in a year, in a day, in a month, or in a week. That is your plan. That is the target volume. You need to decide annual target plan, monthly target plan. You need to decide over. Then target profit margin. Target profit margin means what? How much profit you wanted to earn per unit of the product by selling into the market. That also you have to decide here. So to decide the target profit, 20% profit, 10% profit, 5,000 profit, you have to decide this target profit per unit. And this target profit depends upon your business plan, objectives, goals of the organization, strategies of the organization, and your survival strategies. And once you decide the target profit, then you have to decide the target setting cost. Yes, target प्रॉफिट इतना है, टारगेट प्राइस इतनी है, तो कितने कॉस्ट में मैंने बिठाना चाहिए. दैट आल्सो आई हैव टू डिसाइड इन टारगेट कॉस्टिंग. देन computing current cost. Current cost means what? At actual cost, what is the at actual cost at which I can manufacture. That also I have to understand. That is something about the computing the current cost. And then with respect to this current cost, I will decide the cost reduction target. Which are the areas where I can get scope to reduce this cost? So that is there may be some of the target cost and there may be some of the strategic cost. Target cost can be reduced. Reduction of strategic cost may be a challenge. So where in reduction of strategic cost, you need to apply some of the strategies. So you should have some flexible approach for it. Then identifying cost reduction opportunities. So you have to, every departmental head, every employee working in the organization, he should have to think in such a way that he should get at least few ideas to reduce the cost. That is, so these are the steps that we had studied in the last lecture. Now, if we implement the target costing, what are the benefits to the organization? So first is the innovation. If you reduce the cost, so If you implement the target cost at that time, you can create the innovations into your product, innovations into your process, innovations into procedure, innovations into your methodology. To bring that innovations from top to bottom, level of hierarchies, we should use the target costing. So it reinforces top to bottom commitment to process and product innovations and is aimed at identifying issues to be resolved. If we use this target costing in a manufacturing process or in our organization, at that time what will happen? It will create the habit of commitment among the employees, as well as whatever are the issues are there, we can able to identify these issues. Second one is the competitive advantage. It enables the firm to achieve a competitive advantage over the other firms. Means what are the differences between my organization and my competitors organization? How I am different than others, how my methodology is different than others. Getting this? Means what? You can't compare the product of Tata Motors with respect to product of Bajaj because both have different competitive advantages. Okay, to get such kind of competitive advantage, this target costing is helpful. Okay, here this your methodology, your innovation technique, your research and development department, which will create your competitive advantage. Means how your product are unique in the market with respect to others. Let us take an example of Mercedes, BMW, and Innova, Toyota products or Maruti Suzuki products. So these Mercedes, BMWs, these are having competitive advantage. Getting this? So these are the unique products. These are the unique products. They have created their own brand. Though prices are more, but customer is ready to pay the price because it is having some unique features. For that unique features, customer is ready to pay. Customer is ready to pay. So if customer wants some unique features of that, let us take an example of Samsung mobile and Apple mobile. Something is different in Apple and customer is wanted to get that facility, and if customer wants that facility, he has to pay more. Getting it? Such kind of competitive advantages we will get through this target cost. Then market driven management. So it helps to create the market driven management in the designing and manufacturing the product that meet the prices required to the market success. Means whatever is happening in the market, whatever are the fluctuations into the market, accordingly we will decide or we will reframe our selling price, we will reframe our profit level as well. And with respect to that, I can make the changes in the my total cost. So as per the study, as per the current scenario of market, you will adapt the changes into your manufacturing process. That is something about manufacturing market driven. Means what? Every time you are getting updates from the market, and accordingly you are making the changes. And last advantage is real cost reduction. If we use the target cost, then what will happen? Every employee will get certain targets and he will get motivated to achieve these targets. The targets may be reduction of cost, reduction of waste, reduction of unnecessary activities, reduction of waste, or reduction of certain processes in manufacturing activities. Getting this? So reduction of selling price. So every employee, respective employee will get certain targets, and that respective employee will try to reduce this cost. So real cost reduction at every stages is possible due to target costing. So students, these are the advantages of target costing. If we implement the target costing at that time, you will implement the innovations into your product, processes, and technology. Second is that you will generate your competitive advantage with respect to competitors. then you will every time to make the innovations, to reduce some activities, you need to update, take the updates every time from the market. Means what, you will be very much updated. And last one is the cost reduction. Real cost reduction is possible with the help of this target costing. Now, next one is the Kaizen. Basically, what is there? Kaizen is the Japanese technology or Japanese principle. Kaizen is the Japanese principle which is used in the right now, which is used in the all Japanese companies for continuous improvement and change for better. Kaizen is the Japanese word. Kaizen is the Japanese word. So this is the principle created in Japanese, created by Japanese people to improve our business scenario, to improve our business environment. Okay. So Kaizen is the Japanese term meaning change for the better. Everybody should try to find some change in their processes, in their work environment, in their behavior, in their technology, in their resources. So change is required, and this is the Kaizen is the continuous process. It is not a time being process. So every day we should have to implement this Kaizen. So just try to understand Kaizen is nothing but it is the Japanese term which is used across the all industries right now, across the globe. And this principle is used to make a continuous improvement into our industries. And it is nothing but change for better or betterment of our organization. We must change our processes, our inputs, our all the procedures. Now, it is the Japanese business philosophy regarding the processes that continuously improve the operations and involve among all the employees. To make a continuous improvement into our manufacturing industry, each and every employee from top to bottom, from general managers, from managing directors to laborers, everybody should work for this continuous improvement in the process across it. प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट वाला कंटिन्यूस इंप्रूवमेंट प्रोडक्शन सिस्टम में करेगा, मेंटेनेंस डिपार्टमेंट वाला हेड मेंटेनेंस में कंटिन्यूस इंप्रूवमेंट करेगा, सेल्स एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन वाला सेल्स एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में कंटिन्यूस इंप्रूवमेंट करेगा. ओके, मींस दैट ईच एंड एवरी पर्सन working in the organization is self motivated, and that person is trying to make the innovations and continuous improvement in the production processes. Miss Kaizen is not only time activity, it is kind of continuous improvement in the processes. So due to having a continuous product improvement, there is the gradual improvement in the production process. So productivity is increasing. Due to using the steps or the principles of continuous improvement, the productivity of organization is increasing. Methodology and procedures, what we are adopting, these are increasing because everybody is looking for the change. Everybody is looking for the improvements. Now, it is the strategy where employees at all levels of an organization collaborate proactively and achieve the sustainable incremental improvements. They can achieve the sustainable improvements to the manufacturing process. So from purchase of raw material to the selling the product into the market, whatever are the activities during this system, everybody is trying to improve the processes, to improve the production system, since the purchase of raw material to the product selling to the market. जो भी एक्टिविटीज है, जो भी लोग इन्वॉल्व है, हर कोई क्या करेगा, कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट के लिए ट्राई करेगा. Everybody is self-motivated. Everybody is self-motivated and everybody is involved in the improving strategies. So it combines the collective talent in the organization to create a powerful engine for the improvement. So here, every time there will be the internal inspection or internal audits. So they will give certain kinds of suggestions. Then cross-functional audit will be there. Means what? A finance department employee make the audit, internal audit of production department. Production department employee will make the internal audit of um, HR department, or inspection department, or sales department, R&D department, and they will give certain suggestions, and the respective people of that department will try to improve, try to implement it. So they will get the suggestion, collective suggestions, and these are proactively. Proactively means what? They will be taking by positive manner to implement, and we will try to improve the production system. Kaizen can also help you personally improve the way you work by the eliminating waste. So Kaizen, what Kaizen states, wherever I am working, I will be employee of production department, marketing department, sales department, R&D department, yeah, HR department, or quality department, purchase department, wherever I will be working, I will find some ways, some methodologies, some processes which will reduce the cost. Means what? This Kaizen is not only uh, uh, used in production department. Kaizen is used in all the departments in the organization. Everybody should try to reduce the cost. Getting this? Everybody will try to reduce the or remove the waste, because waste are there where I have done certain expenses. So trying to eliminate the waste, trying to eliminate unnecessary steps, trying to trying to save the time, that also reduce the cost. So that is the principle of Kaizen. At the organizational level, Kaizen can be powerful team approach that harnesses suggestions and involvement from people at every level. हर जगह पे हम लोग सजेशंस लेंगे और सजेशन के हिसाब से क्या करेंगे, इंप्रूवमेंट करेंगे. So this is the Chinese principle. Nowadays across the globe, all companies are trying to use this for cost reduction techniques. So this is Kaizen cost. So this, see, Kaizen is the Japanese idea which is used for continuous improvement in the organization. So Kaizen consists of two words. This is the Japanese word. Kai means change and Zen means good. To implement good change in the organization, we should do certain activities. That is nothing but Kaizen. Kai yani change and Zen yani good. Good change in the organization, and to implement this good change, we will do the cost reduction. Now, Kaizen costing refers to ongoing continuous improvement program. Kaizen costing क्या करते हैं? Ongoing यानी जो चालू है हर दिन. Improvement program that focuses on the reduction of waste in the production processes. Through this Kaizen costing, what we are doing, we are trying to reduce the wastage which are generated in the production process. So waste means what? These are the some activities where we have invested our labor, we have invested our capital, as well as we have done certain expenses, but this product is not ready to sell into, suitable to sell into the market. That is nothing but waste. So if waste are generated in the organization, it will bear certain amount of cost. So what we are going to do, we are trying to reduce this waste and unnecessary expenses, due to which we will save certain amount of expenses. So this is the principle of Kaizen. Then it also helps to lower the cost below the initial target specified during the design phase. Everywhere, what we will be trying, we will try to reduce the cost at the initial stages. It is the Japanese term for number of cost reduction steps, which is used for number of cost reduction steps that can be used to issue a new product design to factory floor. Everywhere we are going to make the innovations through the Kaizen technology or Kaizen principle. One of the major advantage of Kaizen is that it is continuous and not a time bound activity. It is not time bound activity. So ये activity एक product के ऊपर नहीं है. हर रोज हर कोई employee cost reduction के लिए try करे. It is not a time bound activity. It is continuous activity. It is a regular activity. So through this Kaizen technique, we are trying to create that favorable environment which will every day try to reduce the cost. So Kaizen accept that more optimization is always possible, and it helps to empower employees and managers to implement the Kaizen in the organization. Optimization technique means what? Whatever resources are there in the organization we are using, that resources we should not be idle. If the resources are idle means what? If person is there, if machine operator is there, but if there is no jobs to work, that time what will happen? I have to pay for that work. एक बंदा है मशीन ऑपरेटर है लेकिन उसको कुछ काम नहीं है लेकिन उसको मुझे सैलरी तो देना है मींस व्हाट दिस मशीन ऑपरेटर इज आइडल that time it increases the liabilities. So here what you have to do, you have to find the idle times, idle workers, idle machineries, then idle activities where company has to pay but it is not generating any kind of productivities. So by removing this kind of idle activities, idle things, you can save the cost. Getting this? So because of benefit of continuous improvement, many managers in the business and the business owners want to implement Kaizen in their organization across the globe. All the organizations now, all manufacturing industries, service industries, mostly manufacturing industries are trying to improve this Kaizen. Kaizen is for good benefit of the industries. Now, to implement the Kaizen, actually Kaizen है क्या? Actually Kaizen है क्या? Kaizen is one philosophy of good environment. Why Kaizen is the philosophy of favorable and good environment. And how you're going to implement this? First is that you should have to follow the disciplines. You should have to follow the discipline. Kaizen है क्या? Kaizen में there are 5 principles are there. In Kaizen, there are 5 principles, and if we implement these 5 principles, automatically we will try to save the cost. So first principle is the discipline. So here, whoever are working in the organization, people should be well disciplined. There should be the self-discipline in the organization. So every time we should not give the suggestions to the people. So whoever are working in the organization, he will be very much self-disciplined person. The person is coming regularly or on time to the organizations on the duty, as well as if he is departing from the organization on time. So this is a part of discipline. So every time we should not teach the discipline to the organization, to the employees. So whoever are working in the organization, they will be self-disciplined people. So due to the self-discipline, people should work on time. People should come to the organization on time and they will leave organization on time. Means what? There will be no any kind of idle resources which will be used due to the mismanagement. Second principle is the teamwork. Each and every employee is working for the common goal of the organization. Everybody should cooperate with other department. Every member should work. So there should be the teamwork in the organization. If teamwork is there in the organization, then you can reduce the cost, you can save certain costs, you can save some of the activities. So there should be the coordination between each and every employee. No more mismanagement is required. Next principle is the moral. Moral means what? Here, whoever is coming to the organization, he should follow certain morals. Is my moral. Means what? He should, the as an employer, I should have to create good and healthy environment. I should have to provide healthy environment, healthy food, healthy securities, and all uh, required facilities to the employees. अगर कंपनी ने अच्छे खासे डिसिप्लिन फैसिलिटीज एम्प्लॉय को दिए तो एम्प्लॉय विल वर्क फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन as well as everybody's moral should be fixed. What is the moral of me to work in this organization? Why I am coming here? So this moral should be fixed. So employer should give good working condition. Then and then employee will work for the organization. Then safety precautions should be have to taken. Then insurance policies. Then safety shoes. Then all kind of safety measures you should have to take care. As well as what kind of benefits if I work proper in the organization, what kind of benefit in place company is giving to me, that I have to analyze whether whether I am achieving my personal goals and company goals. मेरे खुद के गोल कंपनी में, इस कंपनी में काम करते समय मेरे खुद के गोल अचीव होते हैं या नहीं होते. If I am satisfied with my personal goal, then I will work to achieve my company's goal. Getting this? So, whoever employee is working in the organization, you should have a high moral. So, making the improvement in the production system, making the improvement in the cost, it should be the employee moral. So, you should have to give high employee moral. Then and then employee will work. Next one is the quality circle. Employee must have a chance to share his ideas, resources, and skill with others. You can generate the quality circle. If I have certain inputs regarding to production department, I must share these inputs to production department. If I have any suggestions to the inspection department, I should have to give that suggestions to inspection department. Means what? Whatever ideas come into my mind, I should have to share with others, so that it will give the benefit to others as well. So this is the quality circle should be there. And last one is the suggestions for the improvement. आपने suggestions देना चाहिए, and whatever suggestions and inputs you are getting, it should be taken by positive mode. It should be taken by positive mode. So these are the five these are the five principles that I can use in Kaizen philosophy. Okay. So Kaizen means not like any kind of technology or any kind of machinery. These are the some working condition principles. If everybody is following these principles, automatically we will reduce the cost. Automatically we can improve the business conditions, business environment. Okay. So Kaizen is not any kind of machinery, not any kind of software and all these things. These are the principles which everybody should obey in the organization. And these are the five elements of principles. So just see, to implement the Kaizen strategy in the organization, what are the steps? First one is that you have to motivate, you have to involve to the employees in the organization. Whoever employees are the organization working at various departments, you have to make the involvement of your employees. Without involvement of employee, Kaizen can't work. First, your employees should be motivated to implement this Kaizen strategy in your organization. Once you motivated to your employees to work in the organization, to implement the Kaizen strategy in the organization, then as per this Kaizen principles, second step is you have to identify the problems at your areas where there is the scope for improvement. there is the scope to reduce the cost. So second step is the identification of problems at every respective areas and clubbing of all the problems. Every employee working at one station, he can make the analysis of the working conditions, analysis of process, and he can identify the some of the problems. Identification of problems at various areas in the organization. Third is the think about the problem and find the sum of the solutions or alternatives. So why this problem is coming? What is the root cause analysis? And if the problem comes in the future, at that time, what will be the tentative solutions? Means what here, thinking of the problem and finding the solution of the problem is also important. So this is the third step. Next, whatever alternatives we found, so we have to find the which is the best alternatives, which is the best alternative, and then whatever is the best alternative, we should have to implement. It may have a problem of power failure. It may be a power problem of idle machinery. It may be a problem of, for example, safety shoes. It may be a problem of, canteen time, spare time. So we have to identify the problem and we have to give the alternative. Okay. And that alternative, best suitable alternative, we should implement in the organization. Next one is that once we implement the particular alternative, then we can check its performance, whether it results into cost saving, cost cutting, or cost reduction. If there is no any kind of change due to implementation of this problem, in implementation of this solution, then this is not good. We have to implement such a strategy which will help us to reduce the cost. Next one is that once we can check whether there is the positive impact in the organization or not. If there is the positive impact, then we can standardize this process. Then we can generalize this process. We can implement this process across the time. And in the same manner, once again, we can repeat the process. Every time we have to think about this involvement of employee, finding of the problem, thinking about the problem, finding the solution, implementation of the solution, checking its performance, then you can prepare some of the standards and repeat. So this is the continuous process. Every time you have to repeat this. So these are the various steps involved in the Kaizen. Now, see the process of Kaizen cost. So Kaizen costing में क्या है? So these are the activities in the Kaizen costing includes elimination of waste in production, assembly, and distribution process, along with elimination of unnecessary work steps, unnecessary activities, so which will also help to reduce the cost. Kaizen costing is intended to repeat many of the value engineering steps. Value engineering यानी जो हम लोग modify कर सकते हैं कुछ steps in the manufacturing of the manufacturing of the product, जो कुछ steps होते हैं उसको value engineering करते हैं. Value engineering यानी either we modify the steps, either we skip the step, or either we add the steps. जो स्टेप्स की वजह से मेरे फाइनल प्रोडक्ट में वैल्यू बढ़ने वाली है, उसी स्टेप को हम लोग मॉडिफाई कर सकते हैं, इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं, ऐड कर सकते हैं. अगर वैल्यू नहीं बढ़ती है पर्टिकुलर एक्टिविटी करने के बाद, तो वो स्टेप हम लोग रिमूव कर सकते हैं. सो काइजेन हेल्प्स देयर टू एलिमिनेट द एक्स्ट्रा कॉस्ट एट एवरी स्टेज. काइजेन कहाँ पे काम करता है? एक्स्ट्रा स्टेप एलिमिनेट करने के लिए, एक्स्ट्रा एक्सपेंसेस eliminate करने के लिए Kaizen काम करता है. So Kaizen is used in the production system, assembly system, as well as in distribution. Since the purchase of raw material to the sending product to the market, यहाँ पे काम करता है. No, what are the benefits of Kaizen? So over the period of time it becomes culture. अगर Kaizen हम लोगों ने implement किया तो क्या होता है? ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का वो कल्चर बनता है, लोगों को उसका हैबिट हो सकता है. एंड once it becomes the culture of the organization, to reduce the cost, to eliminate the cost, then what will happen? We will implement our processes. and everything will work very much smoothly. Now, Kaizen empowers your employees. So, without involvement of employee, Kaizen is not possible. So, through this Kaizen, what we are doing, we are just creating good working environment in the organization, and continuous improvement into production process and systems. It happens. And due to this Kaizen system, what happens? We will use our resources with 100% capacity. We should not use any resources with 50% capacity, 60% capacity. So whatever resources are there, it may be machinery, it may be labor, it may be any kind of tools, that should be utilized with 100% efficiency. Okay, so these are the benefits of Kaizen. Now see, just uh, going to share you one experience of Kaizen in Toyota company. Toyota is Japanese company. They first introduced this Kaizen technique. Toyota is the Japanese company. They have first introduced this Kaizen technique to reduce the cost. So Toyota aggressively pursued Kaizen costing to reduce the cost in the manufacturing phase. Manufacturing phase में पहले Kaizen implementation किया. तो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, प्लांट मैनेजर ने दो टारगेट्स एक साल में सेट किए. One target was in the month of July and one is month of January. And there was the gap of 6 months between two targets. They have set the goal, 6 monthly plan they have submitted to reduce the cost. So methods for achieving these goals, they have set 6 monthly goals first. And methods for achieving these goals include cutting material cost per unit, improvement in the standard operating processes. उन्होंने क्या किया, मटेरियल के कॉस्ट में, मटेरियल में कॉस्ट रिडक्शन करने के लिए टारगेट गोल सेट किए. और आपके जो प्रोसेस है, स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसेस, हाउ टू परचेज रॉ मटेरियल, हाउ टू मेक द प्रोसेस ऑफ द रॉ मटेरियल, what is the process of making the advertisement, what is the process of making the inspection, what is the process of R&D, what is the process of sales. ये जो प्रोसेसेस होते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में हर कोई एक्टिविटीज के, उसको स्टैंडर्ड बनाया, स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसेस बनाया, ड्यू टू व्हिच अननेसेसरी प्रोसेसेस वी हैव स्किप्ड. तो ये टारगेट फिक्स कर दिया. These are the pursued based on the employees suggestions. ये जो स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसेस एंड प्रोडक्शन के जो टारगेट्स, कॉस्ट कटिंग टारगेट्स, ये जो गोल सेट किए, these are on the basis of suggestions given by the employees working in the organization, not for by other employees or external parties. खुद के एम्प्लॉइज नहीं, खुद के एम्प्लॉइज ने जो कुछ सजेशंस दे दिया उसके हिसाब से उन्होंने गोल सेट किए. And these are the 6 monthly goals. And there was a continuous watch to look towards. To draw up Kaizen plan after Kaizen goals have been set by the top management, employees look for the ways to contribute to the Kaizen in their daily work. So top management ने क्या किया, goal setting किया, and they have designed the certain amount of goals at every department, small goals. हर कोई डिपार्टमेंट को कुछ गोल्स या कुछ टारगेट दे दिया. And there was monitoring on these targets, whether these are accomplishing or whether these are happening or not. So about, in case of Toyota company, about 2 million suggestions were given by the Toyota company. Means what, approximately 35 per employee suggestions has been received by the top manager. और वो जो 2 million suggestions में से, Toyota is a very big Japanese company. So out of these 2 million suggestions, 97% suggestions were adopted within 1 year. एक साल में 97% of suggestions they have implemented. And this really a prime example of the concept of employee empowerment, in which workers are encouraged. यहाँ पे काम किसने किया, suggestions employee ने किया और implementation employee ने किया है. Getting this? So this is possible due to the employee empowerment. If employee is satisfied with my organization, then he will make positive changes in the organization. If employee is not dissatisfied, if employee is dissatisfied, अगर employee को काम करने का मन ही नहीं करता, means what? As an organization, I have to provide better or well uh, better environment for the organization. Then and then employee will make changes. As well as an organization, I should have to motivate him. I should have to support him. Getting this? So this really a prime example of the concept of employee empowerment in the workers are encouraged to take own initiatives to improve operations, reduce cost, improve product quality and customer service. ये सारी जो areas है वहां पे improve करने के लिए लोगों ने try किया and suggestions were related to that. Now see here, there are 5 S of Kaizen framework. Just go through these 5 heads or 5 principles बोल सकते हैं in the Kaizen technology or Kaizen framework. So these are the Japanese words: Seri, Siton, Siso, Siketsu, and Shitu, Shitsuke. So these are the Japanese words. So what is the meaning of these Japanese words? What is the understanding of these Japanese words? It is written in front of this. Just read this slide. These are the 5 Kaizen techniques or 5 Kaizen principles. See, first word is the Seri. Seri is the Japanese word. Seri implies organization or tediness by removing unnecessary items and categorizing the unnecessary ones. Means what here what we are doing under this principle, we are identifying unnecessary activities and necessary activities. So we are just making the categorizing of. First one is that we have to remove the unnecessary items and unnecessary activities. पहले क्या है, जिसका कंपनी में जरूरी नहीं है वो हम लोग रिमूव करेंगे, जिसका जरूरी है उसका कैटेगराइजेशन करेंगे, ए एक्टिविटी, बी एक्टिविटी, सी एक्टिविटी, important activity, very important activity, less important activities, getting this, and not important activities. So we can categorize the activities, we can categorize the product as well. Try to understand. तो सेरी में क्या करते हैं हम लोग, अननेसेसरी एक्टिविटी, अननेसेसरी आइटम्स, अननेसेसरी गुड्स रिमूव करेंगे, जो नेसेसरी है उसका कैटेगराइजेशन करेंगे सेरी. सेकंड इज द सेटअप. सेटअप क्या करता है, देखिए, इट फोकसेस ऑन द ऑर्डर एंड अरेंजमेंट ऑफ आइटम्स इन इजी एक्सेस. इट हेल्प्स गेटिंग वर्क डन फास्ट. यहाँ पे हम लोग जो व्हाटएवर आर द एक्टिविटीज वी आर रिक्वायर्ड, we are making the arrangement. Means what? Place for everything, and everything should be at its own place. Yani for example, if I want, you can take an example of medical store. If you take the medical store, product का नाम देखने के बाद immediately medical representative particular उसी सेल्फ में जाता है, उसी पर्टिकुलर कबर्ड में जाता है. क्यों जाता है? बिकॉज ही नोज दैट प्रॉपरली अरेंजमेंट ऑफ द टैबलेट्स. उसको पता है फीवर के टैबलेट्स कहाँ पे रखे, कोल्ड के टैबलेट्स कहाँ पे रखे, छोटे बच्चे के टैबलेट्स कौन सी कबर्ड में है. गेटिंग दिस मीन्स व्हाट? दिस इज नथिंग बट ऑर्डर एंड अरेंजमेंट. एंड व्हेनेवर वी हैव टू अरेंज द प्रोडक्ट्स इन such a way that it will be clearly visible to all with names. You can take an example. तो properly arrangement of goods वहां पे होने चाहिए. और गुड्स का प्रॉपरली अरेंजमेंट यानी क्या होना चाहिए, पर्टिकुलर चीज पे मिसप्लेस नहीं होना चाहिए, कोई भी गुड्स गलत जगह पे नहीं रखना है. whatever are the items we are using in the organization, it should be at its own predetermined place. वहां पे लेबलिंग होना चाहिए, क्वांटिटी कितना है, और एक दूसरा प्रोडक्ट इजीली एक्सेस होना चाहिए. दैट इज नथिंग बट सिटअप. सिसो मीन्स व्हाट? अ क्लीन फिजिकल एनवायरनमेंट. मीन्स व्हाट? डर्ट, ऑयल नीचे है, गिरा है, डर्ट है, कचरा उधर ही पड़ा है, ऐसा कोई नहीं होना चाहिए. whoever working in the organization at a physical place, everybody should take the care of cleanliness. क्लीनलीनेस कंपनी में होना ही होना चाहिए, मेरा वर्किंग कंडीशन साफ ही होना चाहिए, मेरा वर्किंग कंडीशन क्लीन ही होना चाहिए। हर कोई एम्प्लॉय ने उसके वर्किंग कंडीशन की जिम्मेदारी लेनी है। Okay, that's why what will happen if the work culture is not dirty, automatically what will happen, I will get fresh mind, लोगों के mind fresh रहे। Next one is the Siketsu. Siketsu means what? It is the standard system should be created for the implementation of best process. अगर आपने मान लिया कि यही प्रोसेस यूज करना है, so that I should have to standardize this process. I should have to standardize this process. We will prepare the standard operating process. Standard system means what? Once it is decided, you should, everybody must implement it. Then after that, you should not find another alternative in the approval of management. Getting this? So you have to prepare the standardized system. Last one is the Shitsuke. Shitsuke means what? It is easy to feel demotivated, but you need to persistent and a discipline, consistent efforts for the necessary of the success. Means what? Whatever activities you are doing, these activities are not only for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year. This should be continuously working. This should be continuously operating. Yani, so these are the 5 principles of Kaizen work. Okay, if any organization implement this, that time these organizations will feel the positive or favorable change in the organization. So ये 5 Kaizen techniques. Now, so, just see the what are the similarities and differences in target costing and Kaizen costing. अभी हम लोगों ने target costing देखा और हम लोगों ने Kaizen भी देखा। तो Kaizen और target में क्या similarities हैं? Just go through this slide. Just read this slide. What are the similarities? Target costing क्या काम करता है और Kaizen costing क्या करता है? Go through this slide. Both are rely on goal setting on cost setting. दोनों भी का यूज किसके लिए है? कॉस्ट रिडक्शन के लिए, रिड्यूस द कॉस्ट ऑफ द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और रिड्यूस द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्ट। उसके बाद ये दोनों भी प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन एंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस के ऊपर फोकस करके क्या करते हैं? वी आर गोइंग टू रिड्यूस द कॉस्ट इन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस एंड प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन का कॉस्ट कटिंग करने के लिए यूज करते हैं। एज वेल एज both are encourages firms to work with the suppliers and reduce the cost. So there should be the proper coordination between me and my suppliers, me and my stakeholders, which will help us to reduce the cost. Both use functional teams to determine where cost can be cut. So there will be some of the teams who will continuously working on these cost cutting activities. We are identifying the activities which are unnecessary. Then encourage employees to take the active part in the cost cutting decision making process. Both target costing and Kaizen costing involves the employees in cost cutting activities and to take the decision. Without involvement of employee, it is not possible. That's why we should motivate, we should encourage to the employees for cost cutting activities or decision making. Then take the advantage of trade-off between price, functionality and quality. उसका advantage लेके हम लोग क्या करेंगे? We'll prepare better and better quality product. Then both target costing and Kaizen costing focus on continuous improvement and process their goals. So these are the similarities between target costing and Kaizen costing. Okay, now what is the difference between Kaizen costing and target costing? Similarities अभी हम लोगों ने देखा, differences क्या है? Just see the differences. Kaizen costing is applied during the manufacturing stage of the product life cycle. Kaizen costing कब होता है? Manufacturing stage यूज होता है, and target costing is applied during the design stage. Design से लेके manufacturing तक target costing यूज करते हैं और Kaizen costing मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के टाइम पे यूज होता है, प्रोडक्ट लाइफ साइकिल। Then Kaizen costing focuses on the production processes and cost reductions are achieved primarily through the increased efficiency of production processes. So production processes and cost reduction is have achieved with the help of this प्रोडक्शन सिस्टम, प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेसेस. हम लोग इफिशियंसी के ऊपर फोकस करेंगे, कॉस्ट के ऊपर फोकस करेंगे एंड प्रोसेसेस के ऊपर, स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेशन के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं. कैसे? वेल एनवायरनमेंट, गुड मोटिवेटेड एम्प्लॉइज, देन वेल वर्किंग कंडीशन, नो डर्ट्स, देन कॉस्ट रिडक्शन, वेस्ट, ये सारे कॉस्ट काइजन में आता है. Now, target costing focuses on the product and cost reduction is achieved through the product design. प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन करते समय ही हम लोग क्या करेंगे, वी कैन मेक सर्टेन स्पेसिफिकेशंस एंड वी विल ट्राई टू रिड्यूस दिस कॉस्ट. बेसिकली टारगेट कॉस्टिंग इज बेस्ड ऑन द प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन और काइजन कॉस्टिंग इज व्हेन you applied the product design and you start the manufacturing, that time kaizen costing use hota hai. So this is the basic difference between kaizen costing and target costing. Now go through this slide, difference between standard costing and kaizen costing. Yes, see the difference, read this slide. both are cost reduction technique, लेकिन दोनों में कुछ तो थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस. जस्ट सी, yes, we have already studied the kaizen costing. Let us discuss, let's see the difference between standard costing and kaizen costing. Standard costing is the cost control technique और कॉस्ट काइजन कॉस्टिंग में हम लोग क्या करते हैं, कॉस्ट रिडक्शन करते हैं. कॉस्ट कंट्रोल में क्या करते हैं, स्टैंडर्ड एंड एक्चुअल कंपेयर करके हम लोग वेरिएंसेस कैलकुलेट करते हैं, डिफरेंसेस कैलकुलेट करते हैं and we are going to find out the root cause analysis of these differences. That is nothing but standard costing. But in kaizen costing में क्या करते हैं, with the help of highly motivated employees, we are going to improve our production system and standard operating process. Unnecessary activities, waste, idle times and idle machinery, ये सारे improve करके हम लोग क्या करेंगे, we are going to motivate to reduce the cost. किसी भी हालत में कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट कंपनी में होना चाहिए. स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग इज नॉट अबाउट कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट, काइजन इज अबाउट कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट. एवरी डे you have to work and everybody working in the organization is responsible for kaizen costing. In case of standard costing, there will be some team of members who will working for the standard costing. So this is the basic difference between standard costing and kaizen. And this is about last slide, challenges in kaizen implementation. What are the challenges here? Lack of concerted efforts by the executive of the firms. अगर executive यानी मैनेजर्स, टॉप मैनेजर्स, अगर उनके एफर्ट्स कम पड़ गए तो दैट टाइम दिस सिस्टम कैन फेल. So these managers or the CEOs or general managers should motivate to the employees to implement these kaizen strategies. Then poor implementation activities. So to implement the kaizen, we should have that kind of resources. Then it is possible, na? If you have not sufficient infrastructure, that time kaizen cannot be worked. Then resources should be there, required resources should be there, and you should have make the planning of resources required for implementation of kaizen. Then if I implement the kaizen, that time what kind of benefit I will get? Getting this? So here you need to take care about your employees' personal goals as well. If you satisfy the employees' personal goal, then they will achieve a company's goal. तो सिर्फ कंपनी का गोल अचीव नहीं होता है, पर्सनल गोल, एम्प्लॉय का पर्सनल गोल भी अचीव होने के लिए काम करना चाहिए. And resistant to change the employee. If employees are not ready to change the system, that time it can't be worked out. This Kaizen can't be worked out. Employee का 100% मन से उन्होंने काम करना चाहिए, तभी ये possible हो सकता है. Okay. So students, in this way we have finished fifth unit and we have finished entire syllabus of strategic cost management. Okay. The notes of this unit also I will share today. And since tomorrow we will start with the next subject, that is the risk management. Okay, so we have finished entire syllabus of strategic cost management. In case of any queries, any doubts, you can WhatsApp me, you can ask me during the session as well. Okay, so I will share you PPT as well as notes today itself. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow for next subject.